My name's Jacob Lyon. My gamer tag is Jake. I play DPS for the Houston Outlaws.
Later today, we'll be going down to the venue, playing some scrims, but right now we're just getting in the mood. This is the apartment complex where they have all of the Outlaws housed. Hard to complain out here. It is the first day of games for the Overwatch League in general, but we have no games today for the Houston Outlaws. Our first game is actually tomorrow against the Philadelphia Fusion. So for us, today is a training day, it's a practice day. We've been here for, coming up on 2 months now, and we're really getting into the rhythm of going to the studio and playing every day.
I was fully on course to finish college and go get a job, but I knew that what I really wanted to do, that my passion was always esports. So I always had that sort of secret hope all through school that I would make it in a game, be good enough to compete professionally. At the start of the inaugural season, there's a lot of sense of history in the making. There's a ton of money behind this league. There's a ton of personnel investment, time investment, and just personal fan commitment to the league and its success. It feels like all eyes on us.
What's up, Jerry? And this is our practice room. Come on in, guys. Hello, welcome.
They have no res. Let's suck the event.
Back up. I'm balking.
I pulled Widow. I got punched.
Can you get out, Muma, or do we need to fight forward?
I'm kind of come up May here. Let's just go for max OT. Muma's primaling. Muma, call your death. Linkster, don't go until Muma's dead. Baby Diva, Baby Diva. Nice, guys. Good hold. It's kind of funny here because you always, you pass each other in the halls. You're kind of like coworkers in a way, even though you're on different teams. All right, we're backstage here at the Overwatch League Studios in the Blizzard Arena, Los Angeles. You might start to recognize it a little more as we go down this way. This stage has a lot of emotion attached to it. This is where we play. This is, where it all comes together. In about 24 hours, we'll be back here right on this spot, walking out. Play our match against the Philadelphia Fusion. We're ready, we're excited, we're hungry. Today is game day. We got our first match of the season against the Philadelphia Fusion. I chose the name Jake in game because I feel like there's something meaningful about using your real name in a place that's so, anonymous normally. Ooh. The DPS role is sort of the opposite of the unsung hero, right? Like you get all the plays, you get all the highlights, but that's only because you get all the support from your team to make those things possible.
Hi, friend.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Oh, just chilling, excited.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Ready to go out there and kill it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hair and makeup, great people working there. They're always awesome and supportive. It's just nice, in a high-stress environment just before a match. It's not about practicing or grinding anymore. It's just about being ready to put out what you already practiced. It's the work you put in to get here.
All right, guys. Good job. Good luck. Have fun. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Houston Outlaws. Running rampant. It's going to be Jake going on a flank here. He's going to get the enemy Mercy. Expect the balls there. It's going to be Jake to fold. Huge! And the Outlaws are running out of steam. Finally, the Fusion have found the answer. There it is. The Fusion get it done. What a match.
It was a tough 3-2 loss, although I really feel like we pushed Philly Fusion to their limit. It definitely sucks to have a loss in the first game of the season on opening day. Our own most harsh critic is ourselves. The press are never going to be as angry at us as we are at ourselves for failing. We're definitely excited to represent Houston. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring it home today for the fans, but we're really looking to have a strong season to represent Houston. I don't think a loss is really a setback for us. I mean, we know that we have 39 more games in the regular season. We have a lot of opportunity to prove ourselves. We're ready for the long season.
I guess all good runs come to an end because the London Spitfire just put a stop to the Stage 2 rampage of the Philadelphia Fusion with a 4-0 victory. I think it's safe to say that the London Spitfire have found their footing once again. Up next, we have the Houston Outlaws going up against NYXL. These two teams, they've been fighting at the top of the standings, so there's got to be a lot of respect between the both of these teams. Or so one would think. We actually sat down to some familiar faces for both squads and heard what they thought about each other.
NYXL taking on the Houston Outlaws, a pretty epic duel.
We're super stoked to play New York.
우리가 짱일 것 같아요.
They finished the stage one with the best regular season results.
우리가 짱입니다. 1등이니까.
And it's also a team that we have a bit of history with. A little bit to prove here, I'd say.
Xavier will be taking matters into his own hands. Oh!
그래서 잘하는 선수는 없는데 저보다.
SBB, I'm coming for you in that Tracer duel. I know you're better than me, but I'm not scared.
Let's go, boys!
You know, I got to give it to him. He's one of the only players in the league with Outlaws tier hair. Who's not on the Outlaws. We have a secret weapon in Boink. You know, I think most Tracers in the league are not going to expect a Lucio to fight back the way Boink will fight back.
Oh, let's break it!
Damn, Boink.
Come at me, boy.
This is just supreme confidence in Jake's ability.
제이크 트레이서 딱히 무섭지 않아서.
정크렛을 제이크가 잘하니까.
Jake! Huge tire from him.
제이크렛이라고 부르죠.
Big Boss Pine!
Just gonna kill everybody.
Oh!
We'll take down the big boss Pine. Like, that's the only message I have for you. He's over-aggressive, and we're getting really good at capitalizing on mistakes like that.
Rock has just got his hair done. It looks amazing.
머리가 굉장히 이뻐요.
Beautiful eyes.
그치?
그러니까. 차랑.
Houston Outlaws, they will take down the London Spitfire.
Take down the champs. Time to take down second place.
When Jake comes out.
Spend the Ted Jake move.
Let's hear for our players. What an awesome piece there between the Outlaws and the XL. Welcome back, everybody. LA, it's okay to make noise. You guys can cheer all day. We're going to have an awesome show. This is the match we've been waiting for, and I'm so pumped to get it started. It's Puckett at the desk. I got the crew with me. We got the side force once again, as well as Zoe. And Zoe, we just saw a big win for the Spitfire. Now I feel like we have an even higher pressure match. If you look at the records of these two teams, both squads are 2-1 coming into today. But I feel like only one of them is going to end up in our playoffs at the end of stage 2. How are the players feeling? What's kind of the mood and the vibe here in the room?
Well, I mean, looking at that video, they're feeling very bantery. But generally, if we're looking at the standings, Houston Outlaws needs this win more. Just by the score, NYXL is a little bit more secure, and Houston has a lot of teams that need to catch up on, so they will be very motivated to take those points.
And not only are these teams looking for the match win, if they could finish with the 4-0, that will pay huge dividends as stage 2 plays out. That's a look at the standings right now, but these standings are gonna move as soon as we kick off this match, and it's time to get it started right now as we welcome the Houston Outlaws to the stage. Linkser with the troll to start the day. I'm looking forward to this man on the Genji, and when you watch them against Philly, Linkser was tearing them apart for the first 2 games, but the whole squad seemed to slow down in the second half, and they fell in that reverse sweep.
Yeah, it was really heartbreaking actually to watch them lose against the Fusion there. It was a very close match. Now, if we're looking at the starting lineup, we do see Clockwork in there. Now I'm wondering, of course, this is most likely due to the map we're going to see first, but Jake has also been tweeting that he's feeling ill. So I am asking here, is he going to be fielded at all today? Ooh. Big question mark right there. We're not sure yet.
Yes, we have no idea. And really, when we look at how Houston Outlaws heartbreakingly lost that reverse sweep against Philadelphia Fusion, Jake was exploited as the game got later on his Tracer. He was taken out all over the place. Now he has to play against Sabiolbi. Jake, I feel, in the same sense as when he was at his apartment playing chess, as if it was a one-player game, when it got to the later stages of that match, he played himself. Johnny, true or false, Cool Matt has better hair than Linkser.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, sure. I absolutely go with that. Yeah, just look at that volume. The volume is insane, man.
Incredible stuff. When you're looking at this team, though,
hair analysis is not what I'm here for.
Other than their hair, what else should the fans know about this squad?
Well, look out for Moomba, because Moomba is the best tank in the league, right? Right? I think Moomba is the best main tank in the league. So look out for that guy. He's going to rack up the kills today.
Wait. Are you saying officially that Mooma is the best tank in the league right now?
Moomba is the best tank in the league right now.
Yeah, but you also said Fusion is the best team in the league, and then you voted
against
against
it. He's got a lot of quotes
so
today. He's got a lot of quotes. That is a look at the Houston Outlaws. Now it's time to see their opponents. Please make some noise and welcome the squad from the Big Apple. It's the NYXL. New York with a lot of fans in the audience today. Arc, their support, one of the superstars on this squad. We always talk about Sabiolby and Pine, but keep your eyes on the supports today. This team is #1 in the overall standings with a ridiculous 70% map win rate.
Yes, and when we see them coming into Volskaya, normally, well, we haven't quite got a read on how NYXL play in the new meta, but a few times we have seen them on Volskaya, they've come out with Pine and tried to work around his Widowmaker, Big Boss Pine, but he wasn't performing like a big boss, so now it looks like they're going with Libero,
with
a
the
bit more
mini-boss.
dive heavy, a mini-boss, yeah, just like a tiny little challenge, you take him out, and then you win.
Yeah, now I still see those braces on Arc's arm. He also tweeted that he's still not fully healed yet. I can't really talk to whether he performed worse or better.
It seemed to be fairly even.
It seemed to be even,
yeah,
despite wearing a cast.
We didn't really see that much of it. Yeah, I think he doesn't really need his right arm. Get it amputated, get it out of there, he should be fine.
That's how good he is. He can play with one.
Yeah, from experience. You can do most things with one hand. Don't worry, Johnny.
Yeah, I've seen Josh tie
We've
his
seen your
shoes
pizza.
with them,
It was pretty gross. All right, Johnny, we're looking at this squad, and one of the big names, of course, is their Tracer Sabiolby, but also their Zenyatta. Jonak throughout stage 1, player of the match multiple times.
Yeah.
What should we expect from him today? Is he going to get as much support as we saw Bedosian when London played?
He might get some kills, sure, as Bedosian, but they can't play around Jonak as much as they did in stage 1. And so I think we'll see more emphasis put on Libero, on Sabiolby to get aggressive dives in instead. And so they can't really adjust to Jonak, of course, and rely on it as much as Sideshow pointed out. So I think this is a New York team that's a bit lost in transition. They haven't really decided what to do in stage 2 thus far.
Houston's coming off a loss. They're coming into today's match going up against an opponent that beat them in the first stage. So what's on the line? What's the thought process for the squad today?
Well, they did beat them in the first stage, but it was week 1. It was before Houston got the ball rolling, and they have been looking for a chance at revenge the whole time since then. They weren't able to get them in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost to the London Spitfire before they could take on NYXL, but Houston are out for blood. They are looking for revenge here and to solidify themselves as one of the top teams in the league.
We heard the Spitfire saying that it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors amongst the top squads. How do these two teams kind of compare stylistically?
Well, Houston so far has been the more defensive team, and they play a bit anti-dive. They like to take care of the Tracer and the Genji, of course, and play a bit more further back. But meanwhile, we look at New York, and while they used to be the defensive team, playing around Jonak, making sure your Zenyatta gets all the kills, it has been a lot more Genji, a lot more Soldier or Widowmaker, of course, and playing a bit more aggressive and being a bit more upfront. So in this case, Houston is a defensive team, similarly to the London Spitfire, and New York Excelsior is the aggressive team, similarly to the Philadelphia Fusion.
To tie it back into the metaphor, it's Houston are the rock, like London Spitfire were, and NYXL is like their coaches are trying to chisel scissors out of a rock. They're desperately trying. They did have a rock, and now they're trying to make scissors out of it. We'll see whether it works.
We know New York has some ridiculous talent in the DPS lane. You got Sabiolby, you got Libero, you got Pine available. For Houston, we've seen what they have. Linkser and Jake seems to be the best duo combination so far, but you still have Mendo available. You got Clockwork, who's in the starting lineup today. What's going on with the DPS for Houston?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of different tools to work with. We haven't seen all of those on the stage yet. Then actually there was a recent video on the Houston Outlaws YouTube channel where Flame talked to that. And he said that at the moment, as they're performing really, really well, it's hard to justify doing any subbing, any changes, because bringing Mendo in, and then what if they start losing? People would maybe start blaming Mendo for it, which is something which happened to Clockwork early on.
But now he's playing really well as well.
Yeah, exactly, but now he's proven that it was clearly not on him. They just needed to find their footing together. And they want to avoid this scenario, so they got to be very careful when and how to sub people in.
All right, let's get some official predictions because it's time to start this match. I'm told the players are almost ready, so starting with you once again, Josh, where are we leaning today? Big matchup. Two of the biggest brands in the Overwatch League, Houston or New York.
I'm gonna have to go for the NYXL for this game. I feel like they have such a huge advantage if this game goes to 5, right? You compare the win rates, they've got 78% win rate on Control. So if this game goes to a game 5, Houston have only got 55. So I feel like this game's going the distance, and when it does, NYXL are going to clinch
You
it.
picked against your countrymen. You went with the Northeast both times today. Where are you going, Johnny?
Well, I'm going to bring it down to your skill rating, Puckett. And in the words of Sideshow, I'm going to say that in this scenario, of course, New York is going to be the scissor, and Houston is going to be the rock. It's all Houston for this one.
Houston! All right, the defensive rock beats the scissors. I give up.
They're not just the rock, they're also the Spock.
Thank you,
Honestly,
thank
they're
you.
everything. I have to go with Houston Outlaws. I truly believe in the guys in green. Not just pandering to the crowd here, I swear.
Never would.
Never would. No, but I've always been voting for the Houston Outlaws. I think they're an incredible strong team. I want to see Muma popping up. I want to see Linkster going ham on the NYXL. And yeah, let's see if that's going to happen.
I want to get a feel for the crowd right now. Who is going to be cheering on the NYXL in this matchup? Decent noise coming in from the New York crew. Who wants to see the Outlaws walk away with the victory today? I think it's pretty clear who the fans are choosing in the venue. It's time to find out who is going to take our first map. We're starting off with Volskaya, and here to bring you all the action, we got the greats, Monty and Doa.
Oh, Puckett, you are too kind. That's right. Don Monty here.
He's really not kind enough for me.
Well, you know, he's very kind. Anyway, you need some more kindness from
That's
Puckett
right.
thrown
That's
your
right.
way?
Exactly.
Right.
Our throws need to be more grandiose. To match with, of course, reinforces grandiose proclamations on the desk.
I know, right?
He's going extra crazy
He's called
today with
best
the
team in the
hyperbole.
world, best tank in the world. What's next, right? I don't know. I'm excited about Sideshow's rock scissors option for rock. It really breaks the meta because it's also
Yeah.
impervious to paper and rock on its own.
I feel like we may be getting
scissors.
lost in some of these metaphors today.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe. We'll see. Well, let's get lost in a wonderful first map between the Houston Outlaws
Ooh, nice
and New York
transition.
Excelsior. Oh, thank you. That's why Chris Puckett calls me great. We're going to go to Volskaya Industry, guys. It's our assault map. That's right. You take point A, and then if you do that, you can take point B. There you go. So, almost ready here. And it is a little bit of a surprise to not see Jake in the starting lineup. They have been using Clockwork a little bit more, but if Jake doesn't end up playing today, are you a little bit more worried about these guys?
Oh, he'll end up playing. They've actually been starting Clockwork in every single assault map so far, so
Sure.
it's not really too weird that we're going to see this. This is where they like to have that more dedicated, permanent fragging tracer. And so we'll see if it works out for them. They did actually do quite well on Volskaya in their last match. They're one-on-one overall on this map, but we see a lot of Sombra defenses, but that's not what the Houston Outlaws were interested in doing here on this map. Instead, they were running with the Tracer and the Widowmaker and the Mercy, and I think we'll probably see that from New York as well. That has been their default strategy, even though they are 0-1, have yet to pick up a win on this map.
Right. In the large sample size of 1, but it is still a lesser score coming into this one against Houston, so we'll see what they can do. They're going to start out on defense. Houston Outlaws will be attacking first here in our first map of this 4 or 5 map set, depending on how things go. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this one go to 5.
Yeah, it definitely could. We saw the Excelsior play a 5-game match, but that was without having Arc in the lineup last week when they lost to London. It was a close series. Mono was playing the Lucio, but now they have more options. They are going to be playing Dive on their first defense here. Worth noting that Pine was the one playing this map when they hit London. So now they're putting Libero in as the starter instead, so not opting for the double hit scan.
Well, Arc on the Ana as well, too. So instead of having Mano just kind of default to the Lucio like they were forced to, they can bring that nano boost into it, which of course you can put on Mano, you can put on Libero, get a lot done with that Ana ultimate. So we'll see what they can do here on defense. I gotta say, too, props to Mano for actually playing a pretty solid Lucio in a pinch there in that match. They didn't end up getting the win, but hey, I thought he did pretty well overall.
I mean, to nearly beat London with that kind of roster situation, I think is impressive in and of itself.
Exactly.
So, Houston Outlaws, they like to play Tracer McCree in case there's a Sombra. So, you want that flashbang to disable the Sombra when she's poking, trying to get some damage, and before she can translocate backwards. They are not going to find a Sombra on the defense, but the flashbang will still be useful against the Genji and the Tracer on the flank.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, oh, whoa, they got to protect McCree, though. Links are getting very low. The dive comes in. Muma trying to protect his back line, but a couple kills come in for Excelsior already. And that push is stuffed. A little bit of a distraction on the point from Clockwork, but he will. Ooh, is he going to get away? Yeah, he gets back to the health pack just in time, but New York took that fight in a hurry.
And that's how you want to use this composition. Utilize your increased mobility, running the dive compositions with heroes like Tracer and Genji to divide and conquer the opponents. Jonak and Arc were sitting on the opposite high ground. They haven't moved at all, sitting, protecting each other.
Makes sense. You got a great angle with the Ana there as your team goes in, just like New York is doing right now, pushing Houston back into the little side room that you come in from on the left side again.
Yeah, they got two members over, so they're still split up. Coolmat and Lynx are over. Now they're going to start to move the rest of their teammates in an attempt to take that high ground. Lynxer's trying to create some space, push them off, threaten that flashbang.
Yeah, that's the idea. Sabielby waiting around the side as well. Here they come. They've got the high ground now. Ooh, that's dangerous, man. You really got to be careful. Lynxer comes in. Recall, though, for Sabielby just in time. Gets to the health pack, fighting it out with Lynxer again. Lynxer still has that range advantage on that McCree. Sabielby dashes over. Oh, and Libero finishes off the McCree. More kills for New York. What a duel it was between Sabielby and Lynxer, but in the meantime, New York cleaning that one up.
And it took the Outlaws so long to get their players around into that position, trying for that flank, and they never really succeeded. Muma and Clockwork broke off and went to the other side of the point instead of trying to join their teammates in the attempt to take the high ground. So, but that's a lot of time used by the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah. Lynxer trying to pull a pine move there by rolling into his opponent, trying to get the kill there, but didn't work out, just barely. Okay. Meanwhile, now they're going to come around the right side here, try to take the opposite high ground.
Yeah, they have forced the New York supports to reposition on the opposite side of the point, but no real pressure on the actual objective itself at this stage.
He'll be getting a little bit low, but he's back up to full health again. Got that healing. Ooh, has to recall to stay alive. That's a big cooldown out of the way. Can they capitalize? Lynxer down. Mano manages to find that early pick. And Houston struggling a little bit here to find purchase on the point. They're down 5-6 here. They're trying to get a little bit of point in the back cap. There's a pulse bomb from Sabielby. No kills out of that one. And now the Transcendence for Raucus, giving Houston a little bit more time to regroup here.
Boink's the only one with an ultimate on the side of Houston right now. Where's the sound barrier? Comes down now.
Yeah, that's right. And there comes the Dragon Blade. Libero looking to cut down a few members of Houston. Gets Raucus looking for a little bit more, but you know, he got two. But the biggest thing is they really scattered the Houston Outlaws, and that's going to be another win, and now less than 1 minute remaining for the Outlaws.
And the biggest part of that fight happened in the beginning. Muma went in to try and zone out the supports, but it was a sleep dart from the side of Arc that shut him down and saved Jonak. And from there, it was easy for them to regain the line of sight on the rest of their teammates, provide the heals, and roll that fight over. So big plays from the supports of the New York Excelsior.
Houston with one last desperation attack here. Maybe they'll have a couple of DPS ultimates to use. We will see Raucus with an early pick on the Libero. That's big. Raucus goes down soon afterwards, though. They got to keep the momentum going. Mano taken out by Clockwork. Sleep dart from Arc misses. Going to go back on that high ground here. Meanwhile, Sabielby waiting for Houston to drop down the point. There's the fight with Clockwork right now. Pulse bomb ready to go. He's going to recall, just try to delay as long as he possibly can. And Jonak fragging out from the high ground. Boink down. And Jonak's got a great angle on this. However, Houston managed to kind of scrap out a couple important kills here, but Jonak, that's 3 for him already in this fight. Now he's fighting it out with Muma, trying to be kept alive. It's all about the supports right now. Transcendence down onto the point again. Houston will have the respawns, though. Maybe they can just barely take it if Muma can stay on the point. Ooh, I don't think he can do it, though. No, that's OT ticking away, and Houston gets about a little over half of the control meter, 54.4%, but that leaves New York with a not too hard of a task to win this map.
And it was only the supports from New York that were alive at the end of that fight, and they clutched it out. It was really a masterclass here from Arc and Jonak in that last defense. I mean, absolutely wonderful support play and positioning, and they were the ones who kept that team alive on multiple occasions.
Yeah, Jonak had that high ground and got 3, I believe, in that last fight, and when they finally came up to try to take him down, I mean, the healing between the two of them was enough to cause too much trouble for Muma.
Yeah, and what's been happening with New York is they haven't swapped Jonak off the Zenyatta very much. They're still playing like 95% of their playtime with the Zenyatta. And we thought Arc, okay, Jonak was going to maybe switch over to the Ana. He's known for being a great Ana player in solo queue, but that hasn't happened. It's been Arc instead flexing more on that role, and they just keep Jonak on that high damage Zenyatta pick.
Hey, even without the damage boost too, he's just so accurate that he can get those headshots, he can get those kills. Really is something to watch. So I mean, now
he did 22% of his team's damage in that last defense.
It's Jonak.
It was only second to Mekko on this roster, which you can't expect on occasion from the Diva. You're getting up close and personal.
Yeah, especially with those rockets now. So New York on the attack. Again, once the map begins, you'll see they only need about half the control meter to win this map. That's all the farther that Houston was able to push this one. Not the start they were looking for, but hey, there's always a chance you can get that defense. Linkser will be going for the Widowmaker. They've got the reses from Boink on the Mercy. Going for picks, going for a bit of sustain. We'll see if it pays off.
And this is exactly the same defense that Houston had when they played against Philadelphia. So they're trying to damage boost Linkser, and it's all about Linkser being able to hit his shots and call any low targets for Clockwork to finish off. New York Excelsior is going to be playing dive, and they're going to be playing a little bit cautiously here, heading around into the side room with their supports.
Yeah, why not? All you need to do is really just win one fight, and that'll win you the map in this situation. That little yellow arrow on the control meters, all the farther New York needs to get it to.
So it's both DPS from New York on the same side. They don't have any healers. The tanks are in the middle, and the supports are on the opposite side of the point right now. So it's an interesting multi-pronged attack that we have coming in from XL.
Yeah, a lot of different angles at play here. Sabiel B down in the help pack room. Oh, Clockwork jumps in on him. Trying to fight that Tracer 1v1. Clockwork a little bit low. Oh, but the rest of the team is there. Sabiel B doesn't want to run into that one, but Coolmat at a third health is a very tempting target. There's the D-Mac. Rockets down meanwhile, and that's a lot of kills coming in for New York. Boink did bring the Zenyatta back again. And Libero gets the kill onto Linkser. Oh boy, this is starting to get a bit out of control for Houston. And with the Transcendence coming in so fast for Jonak, there is nothing that the Outlaws can do, and that will be map number 1, going to New York Excelsior.
Convincing win from New York. Fantastic defense. That was what you want to see from a dive defense. Textbook when it comes to dividing the enemy up, punishing positional errors, cutting them off from the rest of their teammates. And it was also a very good read on Amuma's style, knowing that he often solos the support line. When Ana is back in the meta, you have to be more cognizant of those sleep darts, and that's going to be a big factor in Muma's ability to use Primal Rage efficiently moving forward.
Very true. You know, questions too about Jonak. Would he be as impactful without that damage boost from Mercy? Well, if this map is any indication, I don't think you gotta be too worried if you're a Jonak fan. We're gonna take a quick break, guys. Map number 2 coming up right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
NYXL has been the best team in the Overwatch League.
And the Outlaws now are looking imperious. The Houston Outlaws have got a big smile on their face. They've done it! New York Excel! Welcome back, everybody. New York Excelsior taking a pretty convincing map #1 over the Houston Outlaws on Volskaya Industries. It was that support duo. It was the Arc, the Jonak, the Anna, the Zenyatta. A little bit too much for Houston to handle early on.
And I think it really does play into the style of the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah.
This is something that I said coming into the late stages last time was I anticipated more Ana use, not because she was so strong in the meta, but because she counters the way that Muma plays so well.
Indeed, and Jake subbing in for Clockwork. So perhaps the Jake Rat will appear as we go towards our next map, control map, Lijiang Tower.
I think this should be better for Houston because they can play the anti-dive style that they preferred and that they were so successful with in Stage 1. And if you've done your research, you're looking at New York coming into Lijiang and you realize that when we've seen them play this map, they play almost exclusively dive. So this is a good time to take a step back, go return to the style that made the Houston Outlaws so successful in Stage 1, trying to protect your flanks and trying to output a lot of damage in control zones.
Now, if you're New York, you know, you're aware of this, right? You're certainly aware of how you played, and you're probably pretty aware of how Houston's found a lot of their success too. So the question then is, how do you adjust? You know, and maybe more of that comes through that change in sort of support heroes.
Yeah, it could be. But again, Muma needs to be careful because why Muma was so great and what makes him a fantastic tank is he uses Primal Rage to push supports out of line of sight. That's basically what he uses Primal Rage exclusively for. He tried that in that last map, got hit by a sleep dart, then you don't have your tank in a fight and the healers are keeping on healing and you wasted your Primal Rage. So you really have to be cautious about how you use that ability if you're Muma because when they're not playing Mercy Zen, there's a lot more crowd control threats, so you have to be a little bit careful.
As far as difficult sleep dart targets go, a Primal Raging Winston coming straight at you is not,
it's not
a tough one. Yeah, it's a pretty easy one to hit.
So Outlaws going back to a 3-tank style, most likely, that we've seen from them before with Linkser on the Zarya. They only run this on Control Center, but this is the exact comp that they've run in the past.
Yeah, it can be very, very strong here, too. Libero, meanwhile, over on the Sombra this time around, going for the hack on the big health pack up top. Giving a little bit more sustain to some of his team as they post up on the high ground, it looks like.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I like it.
We see this strategy using the mobility of the Winston and the D.Va to be able to return to that pack.
Yeah, could get a lot of use out of that. Could charge the EMP very quickly as well. Meanwhile, Meko still up on the high ground. A lot of free firing going on into the Houston Outlaws. Coolmat D-Mech already. Oh, there's a kill on the Coolmat too. Meko diving in, and now they're behind the Reinhardt. There's a pin though coming in from Muma, but Meko once again provides a finishing blow, and that hacked health pack, you can just keep going up there, getting the health you need. I believe that was a trap on the Mano, but there was no finishing damage coming in from Houston at that point, and the control percent rolling early for NYXL.
And this is a custom-tailored strat to what the Houston Outlaws are known to do. They can't get up there with the Reinhardt or the Zarya, so it's a lot of free reign on the health pack from the side of the New York Excelsior, and they're not going to be able to challenge unless they walk all the way around the outside of the point.
Very interesting here. Sabiel B looking for a pulse bomb target here. Mano does find the kill on the Libero actually through all that. Coalescence though coming in from the New York side, or from the Houston side rather. Trying to keep the tanks alive, and now Mano, Primal Raging down to 20 health, down to 9 health, gets the shield down. Coolmat, all he needs to do is just walk forward to get that kill. He does eventually. Linkser finishes that one off, but meanwhile back on the point, the percent still in New York's favor.
Absolutely, and the Riptire from Jake, hopeful to find some supports, but instead, Meko's the only one holding the ground on the point, and eventually gets close enough for him to disable the tire.
It was nearly a very fast flip. Houston fighting it out, though. They've got that sound barrier. Muma going back to the point, can't find the target with the charge. Earthshatter comes in, manages to knock Meko off his feet, but the healing pretty big here. Can they get the D-Mech? It looks like they have. And they get Meko as well. Houston in prime position to finish this one off. If they can just clean people off the high ground. Jake kills Sabiel B with that mayhem, the post-death grenades, and via the fight, Houston will flip the point.
Yeah, 71% for New York. They're coming back with another EMP. Linkster slowly working his way towards Graviton. Will have it for the next engagement.
All right, so New York, a couple ults on their side to work with as well. We've seen them defend the point. Now we have to see how they do attacking it. That EMP from Libero is going to be crucial.
That's how they want to engage. Safielby is, as we see, all the way behind enemy lines right now. Format realizes what's up. He's trying to distract Jake because Jake is zoning Libero off from a good EMP angle.
That's right. It's Jake's job to zone everybody. There's the EMP coming in. Boink a little bit on the low side. Coalescence gets used by Raucus. Didn't get hit by that EMP. Muma the first to fall though. So short-handed are Houston already. Pulse Bomb comes in, doesn't find any targets, so now the Graviton Surge onto New York, and the bigger bang claims Arc. They were looking for a bit more. Transcendence used, though, as New York desperately trying to turn this fight in their favor. Meko, though, takes out Coolman. They may help, and now the tire comes in. No kills out of that one, though. Self-destruct again, shielded by Muma. Houston holding strong on the point for the moment.
Arc still here on the Lucio.
Oh, another shatter comes in. Meko caught once again. He's going for a ride, and whoa! Right into the pilot diva after she's popped out mid-charge. I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
What a great team fight. That Graviton really saved it for the Houston Outlaws, being able to take Arc out early and force the Transcendence. Boink to beat his doom on the other side, though. Alongside Mono taking out Jake with the Primal Rage. Now they're going to be chasing Coolman, attempting the DMAC.
Yeah, oh, that's a trap on the Sabielby. Good thing Jake is out of commission, though. Doesn't get any health back, but he does get to the health pack. Now New York back on the point again, trying to contest as best they can. Linkster falls early in that one, but we're already into overtime for Houston. On the verge of taking this point, but New York on the verge of flipping it back. They will. Last-ditch effort will get their control percent going one more time.
And Boink's sound barrier a hair too late to save Linkster on the Zarya, and ends up being somewhat of a waste in the end. Linkster returning with another Graviton Surge. A big surge here could be a game winner, but he has to get through two support ults.
Oh yeah, first will be the sound barrier coming in from Arc. Linkster just waiting it out. Again, now Transcendence, Coalescence though, and there's the Graviton Surge, the combo with the Zarya, the Moira, and Jake comes in with the Riptire for a resounding team fight victory. They will flip the point back, and I think they may take this one right now. Save will be down. Nobody from New York able to get back to the point, and that will be round one going to the Outlaws.
Fantastic ult combination at the end. You were worried a little bit when you saw the Graviton come out, but they knew they had the Riptire in reserve. So go ahead, use the Riptire. The burst damage not going to be stopped by the healing over time from the Transcendence, so you can get the big combo and get the big kills as soon as the sound barrier is gone.
True enough. So a clever strat from New York on that point, trying to play into what they knew Houston was so good at it, but the trouble is, Houston is so good at it. They were able to just find those team fights they needed to win. It's all about those big ultimate combos, and if you're patient enough, you can execute.
Now here's where it might get a little more tricky for the Outlaws. Playing in some of these lighter tank maps, or points rather, for the rest of Lijiang. They got to keep up this momentum right now. Linkster on the Genji, and they're going to claim dive.
That's right. Trying to push New York back early on. There's the save. Raucus taken out by Sabielby, though. Mano down, meanwhile, on the other side. Libero firing from on high. No one's really been able to do much about him yet, and that's going to be a problem for Houston. Linkster down. Jake finished off by Sabielby. And that Faro was not something that Houston appears to have been prepared for.
Previously, we have seen the dive, the Genji come out of Libero on this point, so they may have not been expecting this, but crucially for the Outlaws, both supports died first. So even though it looked like an even trade when it came to those kills, if both your supports are dead and you have no more healing, it snowballs very rapidly.
That hurts quite a bit. Houston jumping right back onto the point immediately. They want to fight this one out before New York has a chance to build up too many ultimates. Savior will be very close to his pulse bomb. Houston kind of trapped by the door, and now Savior will be lurking around the outside, looking for a target with that one. Flopper coming in, great stick onto Raucus. They're gonna get him before he has his Transcendence. Libero with a kill onto Jake as well. Muma on the run, gonna get finished off a little bit later. And that will be the end of that fight. Nearly 40% now for NYXL.
This is not how New York typically plays, Doha. If we look at Sabielby, he's not focusing the enemy DPS. It's almost as if he doesn't care about Jake or Linkser in this engagement because he has been making a beeline, and there goes Raucus off the edge.
Whoa, all right.
He has been making a beeline for Raucus in nearly every other fight. Now, that may seem normal for Tracer players, but it is not normal for SaveBLB.
Well, it's been working pretty well so far. Either way, Rocket comes back Libero's way, but he is going to dodge that pretty easily. A lot of ultimates on the side of NYXL. A lot of efficiency from them. They could be looking at a point take pretty easily here. Houston. Oh, Rocket! There's some revenge coming in. A few chrome orbs to the dome, and that's going to be a couple kills already for Houston. 6v4 starting things off. Mecco going to get DMAC'd as well. Self-destruct comes in to try to gain them more space, and it pays off.
That is such a massive play from Raucus that because the reason is they flipped the point and they didn't have to use any of their ults to do it. Sure, New York's coming back with 6, but if they had not gotten a pick off, they could have slowly used their ultimates and try and choke Houston out of the game. So Raucus, huge play.
That was absolutely a defensive round New York wanted to play at that point. SaveBLB having to get a little bit offensive here. Coming in, Transcendence popped already. They're going to go ahead and pop that pulse bomb right after it's used, I would imagine. Sound barrier now for Houston. You have to wait that one out. Now the jump on to SaveBLB, looping around the side. Libero, more or less untouched on the outside of the point, but he needs to get more damage in there. SaveBLB almost with the DMAC onto Coolmat. Libero pops that barrage, but Raucus right there to take him down. And now SaveBLB on the run a bit. Lynx are coming in with the Dragon Blade. Can he find a bit more? That's a lot of health on that Diva right now. With Muma there, maybe he can do it. Now the Primal Raging Winston comes in. A brawl on the point, and it looks like in the end, New York might be able to flip it, but Houston not done quite yet with this one.
They're really committing to this. Boink is the only one on the point right now as Linkser and Jake fall.
Well, that was about as long a stall as you could hope for if you were Houston Outlaws.
Yes.
They got it up to about 60%, which is pretty solid, but now New York looking at trying to take this round.
They're coming into the 6v5 because Raucus just killed Mecco, so this will be another man advantage fight until Jake is taken out by Jonak. He dashed straight at him.
Raucus versus SaveBLB, here we go again. There's a recall, waited for that alt fire. Now Raucus in trouble, SaveBLB wins the duel straight up. Meanwhile, back on the point, Houston fighting out against Mecco. Self-destruct comes in for Coolmat, gonna get back in his mech, it looks like. The rest of New York waiting outside the point. Now is their time to come in. Libero again, firing, and not a lot of people firing back at him. Mecco taken out by Linkser though, but Libero on fire, taking down Coolmat. Oh, direct hit onto Jake with that Vara. It's looking okay, but Raucus from behind takes the Vara out of the skies. Now with the sound barrier, the remaining members of Houston trying desperately to hold this one, to flip it back again. They've got the Transcendence, but do they have the numbers? I'm not convinced. Nope, there goes Raucus, and that's going to be point 2 going to NYXL.
And New York coming in with some interesting tactics. They're leaving Ark and Jonak basically to their own devices. When we talk about New York in the first stage of competition, what they would do is they would basically just masterfully peel for Jonak while he had the damage beam on him from the Mercy. And we see SaveBLB trying to peel away the other DPS. This time, they're playing dive like we typically expect most teams to play it, which is by punishing positional errors and trying to get the Zenyatta who lags behind the rest of the team composition.
Right.
And that's what SaveBLB's focused on. That's what Libero's been focused on, is trying to isolate and kill Raucus.
Great support duo from NYXL, proving to be adaptable here in stage 2. And now the final round, Night Market decides who wins Lijiang Tower. Houston Outlaws, NYXL. A lot of poking going on. Just trading a couple shots here and there. Mano thinking about getting into the back lines, but no. Looks like NYXL wants to try to play the point early on. Fox in just a few seconds.
We're waiting for a commitment here. Meanwhile, with Linkser on the Soldier, they definitely want to poke this. Raucus from long range is firing volleys across the courtyard.
Well, Houston from the outside looking in. They need to get aggressive here if they want to stop New York from taking the point. Now the dive comes in. They've got the Winston coming in from the other side, but Coolmat takes him down. Houston does give up the point, but in the process, they get a lot of kills. They're in a great position to flip this one back fast.
Yeah, can they get through, though? Linkser in a bit of trouble on the side.
Linkser! All right, Mecco coming in. He can delay quite a bit here. Trying to do as much as he can, but he's going to get DMAC. and now the rest of New York coming back again.
So adaptations are happening for the Houston Outlaws, though it may not be enough to take the point this time. So now they're trying to read Sabielby. Sabielby was in a 1-on-2 against Jake and Raucus. Jake is trying to play the Peel Tracer, and he was successful. And you could see that Houston doubled back. So Raucus is now calling for help in that back line. They understand what New York's tactics are, and they're starting to fight back.
That's the plan anyway. Sabielby maybe looking for a stick here. See if he decides to go for it. Meanwhile, on the New York side, sound barrier drop. They're gonna fight this one out. Jake a little bit in trouble. He's got his sound barrier as well. Sabielby exits that fight. Now Links are the one who's low. Oh, that defense matrix saved him for just a moment, but Mecco and Libero say no. Couple kills for NYXL coming in. Libero, once again, waiting it out. Gotta dodge that self-destruct. Muma about half health. They're trying to save as many ults as they can, and look at that. Transcendence comes in from Raucus pretty much after the fight is over, I gotta say. Trying to delay it as long as possible. That paves the way for Linkser to walk in with the tac visor, so maybe they've done enough to flip the point here. Could be, but again, the delay, no, there's a Transcendence. New York gets back just in time. Jonak had that Zenyatta ultimate, and now Linkser the one who gets chased down. Oh man, every time Houston had a fight going their way, New York tips it back.
Yes, but Doa, Outlaws are playing very well in spite of that. You can see the Transcendence coming out. Their calls are clear coming into these points. They knew that they had the tac visor incoming. That's what they had hoped to tip the scales of the battle.
We're into overtime now, and New York 99% to 0. They just got to clean this one up. Can Houston contest this point? That's a big boop onto Coolman. He gets knocked off. His charge was on cooldown, and now Muma a little bit on his own here. Libero takes this as a time to pull the blade in celebration, and New York will win Lijiang Tower 2-1. That's a frustrating one for Houston, man. They had so many good engages, good plans coming into the point, and just got dismantled every time.
That was actually a very high-level round of Overwatch.
Yeah.
Even though it looked one-sided, 100% to the Excelsior, Houston played that very well.
Well, even from the very beginning, right, where Houston kind of waited for Mano to jump in from the back.
Yes.
They turned on him, got those early kills, had the advantage coming into the point, and they still couldn't take it? It's insane. That's some sick hair for Cool Hand. Guys, halftime coming up after this. We'll see you in a little bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Libro's been on the hunt all match long, racking up 20 final blows as the New York XL hold on to a 2-0 lead over the Outlaws at the half. Welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett. We've got the boys once again. Roommates, no longer in bunk beds, now in separate bedrooms. It's Sideshow, it's reinforced.
That was a quick development.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. You guys got your new IKEA furniture fast. All right, let's talk about this matchup here, Sideshow, because as we saw in our first match, the top-level teams really just game planned for each other. And so far, it's looking like New York knew exactly what Houston was going to do playstyle-wise.
Yeah, coming into today, if we look at the London Spitfire and the NYXL, they've shown us two big traits of the top teams. You have to counter-strat your opponent. You have to know what they're going to run and run a strategy that rock, paper, scissors them. And the second one, which is really interesting, is that both teams have relied pretty heavily on Ana Zen compositions, which is what Monty was talking about at the when he was doing the cast. And I've got a play to break down of why that composition works so well and what it allows the NYXL to do. Because they know that Muma is going on these big flanks. So you see the positioning here of the supports, and Muma just wants to get straight into the back line, use his Primal Rage onto Jonak. He's just about to get it. He's at 92%. And what happens here is that normally, Muma would be able to get into the backline and apply so much damage here that Jonak would be forced to use his ultimate, forced to use that Transcendence. So Muma goes in, gets Jonak weak, but he's got the Ana there constantly buffing him up. The Biotic Grenade comes in, and then the Sleep Dart onto Muma when he uses his Primal Rage. It was actually fantastic to watch, and it allowed the NYXL to keep control of all of these ultimates every time. Look at this, the coordination between these two supports, then the Sleep Dart. They know if you take Muma out of the Houston Outlaws, they are not going to be able to perform at that level. And this was the kind of game-winning plays that Ark and Jonak were able to do all throughout Volskaya. And Monty was catching them, and it just made it run like clockwork the whole time.
Well, if it ran like clockwork, it hasn't done very well so far. So. Well, come on!
I was hoping you'd follow up on that point. All right, let's talk about the Tracer that is doing work, though. It's Saviolbi so far, and you look at his numbers, 22 final blows, just 5 deaths up to this point. How is this man such a master? Johnny, you've crowned him the best Tracer in the game in the past.
Times,
but what is he doing against Houston in particular?
Well, he changed up his style. Monty actually touched on this in the cast as well, that usually he is so good in the Tracer versus Tracer duels and shutting down the enemy DPS. But this game, he's going for the supports and the tanks. He's killed Muma twice, he killed Rockets twice, Boing twice. So he's eating up different fields here, and that's what Josh talked about. You need to change up your strategy and actually counter-strat the enemy team when you're at such a high level. So in many ways, Saviolbi has adapted for this series, and Houston just hasn't been able to shut him down.
Yes, and Jake is trying to make adaptations to try and counter that. He's gone back to more peel-oriented, whereas normally he syncs up the dives with Muma. So you see Muma and Jake are a pairing that move around the map. Now it's more that Jake is trying to man-mark Saviolbi, which is weird because Saviolbi's pushed Jake into a position where they have to take Tracer 1v1s. And you see Jake, because he can't quite get the mechanics down as well, I think he said even in the intro, I know Saviolbi's better, but I'm not scared.
Right.
I think was the quote. But he's kind of jumping from health pack to health pack, trying to give himself as much advantage as possible, finishing off a couple of kills, but at the moment not having the same impact.
If you watched him on the Junkrat, they were doing pretty well. Control Center went in favor of Houston. How did they lose that game too? Because for a moment I was watching and I thought, all right, this is where Houston ties up this series. Where did New York edge them out in that game too specifically?
Yeah, well, Libro just popped off, didn't he? He was just in a kill feed constantly, and he got kills repeatedly onto Raucus. Now, Raucus killed Libro 4 times, but I'm pretty sure Libro, I mean, he just went insane that game specifically, so it was going to be decided on a third map.
All right, well, we do have a third map coming up. It's going to be Kings Row, and we love this map. If you're a tank fan, this is the one where you're going to watch them all. Sometimes quad, sometimes 3. Johnny, what are we expecting to see now moving forward? Spree, he's been on Kings Row in the past on that Zarya.
Spree, I mean, Spree is one of the best Zaryas in the West, if not the best. That's a conversation for another day, of course.
He's just crowning everyone as
yeah, everyone's the best. Awards for everyone.
We got some good players today.
Yeah, we do. And this is the map that they rolled London Spitfire on when they actually had that head-to-head. So they know that they can play Kings Row against the best teams in the world, pull out these tank compositions, and roll them over. Because Muma's Earthshatter so far have been really good. Jake's had great performances on the Riptire. This team works so well around these tank compositions. They can pull it out whenever. And Kings throw feeds into that so perfectly. So you could see them straight back into this one and trying to pull off the reverse sweep.
And I think Houston Outlaws is one of the best teams when it comes to Reinhardt and Sora composition. But I'm a bit worried because so far we've seen New York being so good at adapting.
Gets the pin on Meko as well when he comes out.
Love to see it, love to see it. Always the Reinhardt gameplay.
Yes,
of
a little
course.
slow for at adapting.
When New York has been so fast at adapting rather to the Houston Outlaws play, I'm a bit worried that New York might pull out some Orisa Roadhog, which they played so well in stage 1. So they might pull out some cheese here, of course, some niche strategies which Houston Outlaws aren't necessarily prepared for. And I mean, that could be a full hold and an easy map 3 win.
All right, Johnny, final question for you as we wrap up halftime. You are the tank master. So looking at Kings Row, knowing that we could see up to 3, maybe 4 tanks on the squads, who has the deeper tank roster? Who has the better tanks coming into Game 3?
Well, I think that Houston has amazing Reinhardt, of course, in Muma, and Fiction on the bench. You have to mention the Team USA player, of course, and then Spree on the Zarya. So I think Houston is really scary on the Reinhardt and Zarya. But if they get countered by New York's Orisa and Roadhog, if it comes into play, then Houston needs to be really fast at adapting and switching up the composition.
Houston needs to adapt fast. They're down 0-2 going into the second half. That's going to do it for our halftime coverage. But before we go to break, we've got a very special guest on the floor with us today. He's with Malik right now, and it's one of my favorite characters from Silicon Valley. Let's go down there right now.
I'm here with Arthur and Silicon Valley star Jimmy Yang. Everybody give it up for Jimmy. Yo, Jimmy, how's your experience been here at the Blizzard Arena?
It's amazing. This is great. This is like the NBA of all gaming, and I'm glad to see all the stars. I'm kind of starstruck, you know, and it's amazing to learn just new stuff. I didn't know Farah can actually stay in the air forever, and then I see her jumping down and punching somebody, and I never thought about doing that. It's amazing.
All right, so it's obvious you play some Overwatch, man. Who's your favorite hero?
I'm more of a Moira guy. I'm pretty good, but I'm only a quick play. Oh, thanks. I never heal, okay? The trick with Moira...
You're one of those.
Yeah, you only use the purple, don't ever touch the yellow, okay?
All right, so where do you play Overwatch? Like, what's your platform of choice?
Is this shameful to say I'm a PlayStation guy? Like, is it?
Oh! No! I am too. Yes, let's go. Let's go. So am I. I'm a console player, and I rep that all day long, man. Who's your team, man, for Overwatch League? You got a team, man?
Yeah, I think the Shanghai Dragons, that's my guys. You gotta support them, you know? Shanghai Dragons, Jayo!
They play today, too.
Oh, they do? Yeah. That's my boys, man. I'm trying to get a spot on that team, you know? We'll see.
You can do it. All right, so lastly, man, what you been up to lately?
Silicon Valley just wrapped season 5. I can't wait for you guys to see it. That's premiering on March 25th. Aside from playing Overwatch, I actually just wrote a book called How to American. That's coming out in 2 weeks. You guys should all pull out your phones right now and pre-order it on Amazon, all the major retailers. It's about my life, so.
All right. Well, everybody give it up for Jimmy Yang. I'm gonna check that out. But guys, we still got another half to go, so let's go ahead and send it over to the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
we welcome the Houston Outlaws. Welcome to NYXL. This is the match we've been waiting for.
Sabilby dashes over. Oh, and Libero finishes off the McCree. 4 kills for New York. What a duel it was between Sabilby and Laser. There is nothing that the Outlaws can do, and that will be map number 1, going to New York Excelsior.
Convincing win.
Again, now Transcendence, Coalescence though, and there's the Graviton Surge, the combo with the Zarya, the Moira, and Jake comes in with the Riptire for a resounding team fight victory. Echo taken out by Linkser though, but Libero on fire, taking down Coolmat. Oh, direct hit! Can Houston contest this point? That's a big move onto Coolmat. He gets knocked off, his charge was on cooldown, and now Muma a little bit on his own here. Libero takes this as a time to pull the blade in celebration, and New York will win Lijiang Tower 2-1. Well, a pretty epic first couple maps here between Houston Outlaws and New York. Obviously, the Houston fans not having it go their way, but you know, you can't really complain when you see that high level of play that we saw in Lijiang Tower. I mean, what more can Houston do? Like, that night market round was actually really, really well executed.
And speaking of well executed rounds, it was a tank heavy combination that won them control center.
That's right.
And Spree, their Zarya ace, will be coming in now.
And Janice coming in for Mano over on the New York Excel side as well.
So we're going to see what other counter strats New York has, because even though it looked like they had specifically prepped the Sombra for Control Center, they still couldn't overcome the great ult combinations that we saw out of Houston. And both of these teams coming in are undefeated on Kings Row here in Stage 2.
Yep, that's right. It's a 3-0 right now for NYXL on this map. 2-0 so far in Stage 2 for the Houston Outlaws. So somebody going to take their first loss on this map right now, but it's hard to say because even though the first 2 maps went New York's way, Houston does really have the play style, the compositions that excel on this map.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
No New York pun intended there. That just slipped out, sorry.
Just slipped out. But it's like Reinforce and Sideshow we're talking about on the desk. The tank-heavy compositions have been very successful for them. What does that mean? It means we've been seeing a lot of Reinhardt, Zarya, McCree, and Junkrat from the Houston Outlaws. This is a great composition to shut down the dive. And what we've seen from the Excelsior is a dive defense, but they've been playing Widow, Pharah, and Mercy on their attack. So not sure if they're going to be going with that dive again. Looks like they are, at least preliminarily, except they will have the Reinhardt, who has a bit more presence on the point because he can stand on the corner behind that shield, not be quite so vulnerable. Nope, it is going to be the Winston. So they will be going back to exactly what they did before. But when we saw it on Volskaya, it was incredibly well done by them, cornering members of the Outlaws, separating the supports from the rest of the team and killing them. And Ark and Jonak didn't ever receive very much pressure.
No, and I mean, even at the times they did, these guys are turning into such the epic duo. And I mean, I feel like they're finally being sort of unleashed now that Art can kind of play the Ani, can play the Lucio, they can take care of each other a bit better and fight back more than you could with that Mercy as well.
And here we go. Houston, they have run Hanzo on attack for the entire map previously. It has been a special from the Outlaws, and they're going to keep it up here.
I mean, the ultimate combo with Graviton Surge and Dragon Strike is pretty devastating, so it's a lot of reasons to run that. Another one being Linkser is a fantastic Hanzo player, so you've got that going for you too. Jake looking for some targets here. He is New York Excelsior hunting. Going around the outside. Wow, chasing him all the way. There's a hook on Demeco. Taking out of the fight for a little bit. Will he get demacked? I think, no, he barely avoids being demacked. He does get chased away, though, so Houston, we'll see if the rest of the team can make something out of that.
And DMAC is absolutely huge because when it doesn't happen, Arc gets 55% of a nano boost immediately.
Yep, that's right.
So this is really scary. New York built up a lot of support charge.
Links are down as well, so now shorthanded. Arc gets pulled in, taken out. Takes a long time for that Anno to walk back to the point, too. So Houston not done quite yet. They're trying to chase down the Genji, and that is not a place I would want to be if I was a Genji against a Reinhardt. Muma chasing out, nice Earth Shatter onto Janice. He's going to charge right into Meko, too. Muma with the big plays, and that may just be point A here. New York maybe can scramble to try to defend this one, but I think you might let it go. We'll see.
Excellent positioning. Muma realizing he had the Genji on his own without a dash in the corridor, follows him up to get the kill. And then we also saw Jonak use his Transcendence at that end of that fight, threw it away more or less on the retreat. So Outlaws have 5 minutes now to get through onto stage B, or point B rather. Stage B.
There's a lot of different names for things in the Overwatch League. We'll figure it out eventually. Oh, Savior being pulled in again. Saved by the defense matrix, that's right. That first point A really kind of fell apart when Art got hooked by Jake, so already making his presence more than felt on this Roadhog. Trying to get out now, that is a nano boost that Savior gets Jake, gets a lot of damage, but now he runs into the nano boost and Muma, the Reinhardt coming in. Now backing out that Graviton Surge. They only caught Janice and a Dragon Strike comes through, so 2 ultimates used for just a kill on the Winston. I don't know, they may have wanted to at least save that Hanzo ultimate.
I think they probably did, Doa. They may not have even needed the Graviton there as well. The fight was already turning. But the nice thing about this composition is you look for combos that you can operate around with the Graviton. You have the Dragon Strike. You also have the Whole Hog to deal damage and keep people in place. So you do have a lot of tools to play around Graviton. And Spree has been able to charge it up pretty damn quickly.
Now Linkser knows that Sablebee's back there somewhere. Fight begins, Muma gets a charge kill onto Janice. There's Linkser trying to keep track of people. Libero gets a kill on Arrakis with that barrage. Not really anything else. The payload has been stalled out for the moment though. No, now Houston back on it. On the verge of taking point B. Is there anything New York can do to delay this here?
This pick composition from the Outlaws has been extremely effective. New York has to have perfect positioning, otherwise they might just get taken out by a Hanzo arrow or a hook. Really dangerous to play against. And so far, the Outlaws have put on a pretty good show here when it comes to attacking and pushing this payload.
Yeah, no kidding. Meko narrowly dodges the hook there. Jake with the Whole Hog to try to finish off this point if he wants to. He's going to go ahead and use it. Gets a nano boost as well. Sound Barrier comes in to keep him safe and just trying to find New York members to push back. There's a hook in onto the rampaging Janice. Meanwhile, Muma waiting for it. He's on the payload. He gets stuck, and that's a big one for Sabielby. New York, that's their ticket to maybe go in and push this one back a bit. Already, Raucus and Lynx are on the retreat, and Janice fries Raucus on the way out.
And New York saw the nano boost, the Whole Hog coming in, and they just vanished. Got out of the sight line, so no big kills coming in as part of that old combination. They are going to have an Earth Shatter. They're nearly at that Graviton, so another Graviton Dragon Strike combo is going to be what the Outlaws are hunting for.
That's a
Now
plan.
started with a good pick. That is huge.
Headshot onto Libero via the Hanzo arrow. Not something you see a whole lot unless you're watching Linkser. Meanwhile, New York dropping down from on high. They get caught up in the Graviton Surge. Meko's going to get demeked. He was the only one in it. Janice comes in the background, but there's Muma dropping that Earth Shatter. There's a charge onto the Transcendence. Oh, and he's going to knock him off. What an angle from Muma. Just dropping Jonak. He's like, go home, man. That's where all the Omnics live here. And take a breather, dude.
Savior will be staying alive in the backline throughout all of this, however. Muma still trying to get the presence on the card. Finally, they are going to take point B.
Wow, and doing it in style. Nice shot from Linkser to finish that one off. And you know, this is one thing that Houston does better than anybody, man. These triple tank pick comps, and you just don't see the Hanzo too often. And if you're not experienced against, playing against that in the recent past, it can get a bit dicey.
And they keep doing this, though, and no one else is running this strategy on this map but Houston. And just executes it beautifully, and it's hard to practice, find opponents during the week to scrim against who play like this because no one else is doing it. Linkser gonna be swapping, and he'll get full DPS.
I mean, making his presence certainly felt on that Widowmaker, and now a little bit of trouble for Jonak as Jake takes him out with a Whole Hog. Arc nearly picked off by Linkser. There's a D-Mech onto Meko again. He's gonna get dropped. Linkser with a great spot on the high ground to fight back against Sabielby on the other side. On that Widow, the payload nearly there. They got to stop it somehow. Jake with another one on the Libero. And they've nearly got it. Transcendence now from Jonak as New York tries to defend. If they get a stop here, it would be big. Oh, but there is an Earth Shatter paired up with that Sound Barrier. So much durability for Houston, and another charge on the Meko as he is nearly the last man standing. Libero dives into the Graviton, and here comes Janice. Sleep Dart taken out of commission, pushed back, taken out, and that will be as soon as they finish off Sabielby. A completion for the Houston Outlaws. 3 points for them in style.
Great execution. They have looked unstoppable on Kings Row, and they are going to get to the end with 1:43 left in the time bank. So the gauntlet has been thrown by Houston to New York. Houston needs to win this map to keep themselves alive in this series and hope for that reverse sweep.
That's right, yep. I'm sure Muma looked like describing that moment where he charged Jonak and pinned him and dropped him into the pit.
It was great.
That was one of the best charges I think I've ever seen. Let's take a moment to listen in with Houston towards the end of that one.
Okay, I have grab. All right, and it's here. Tracer pipes.
He has that push.
Way slow.
I'm on third. No, we should not play.
Too high ground. Jump. Let's go to point now. Let's go point.
I'm discorded.
I'm grabbing. I'm dead.
I'm on me out there, Obi.
You wanna make? Holy ruckus.
Into the iris.
Tracer ball.
Oh man, I love that charge at the end there. Not so happy for Jonak because that Transcendence was taken right out of the fight, but Muma really going crazy on that Reinhardt on the attack. But now the defense comes in. It's a tall order though for New York to complete the map like that.
Especially with that time, Linkser.
It's pretty good.
Returning to the Widowmaker now, so they're not going to be playing McCree or Junkrat here. They are confident that they can handle perhaps a dive composition from the side of New York, but it's not what New York's been playing. They've been playing a lot of the Widow and the Pharah on the attack here, so trying to counteract that with their own sniper.
So powerful too for the Houston Outlaws to have this Zarya specialist and Spree that they can bring in on maps like this and really kind of put to work, and probably gives Raucus a bit of peace of mind as well, knowing that there's a possibility of a shield on him if he gets into some trouble, which New York has been pretty good at putting him in this match.
All right, they're going to swap immediately. They're doing a double sniper setup. This is old school. What you do is you set up a crossfire with the Hanzo and the Widowmaker.
Oh, Libro's like, hey man, I heard your Hanzo is pretty good. Have you seen mine?
And his Hanzo has long been one of the world's best, Doa. Back in Apex, he was an absolute monster on this hero.
And there it is, another one for Libero as he picks out the Tracer. He kills the Tracer, he kills the Widowmaker, long range. What a statement from New York to start this attack run off.
So let's talk about what happened. New York expected the Junkrat and McCree with the Reinhardt and Zarya. When they didn't see that, they swapped off of the Pharah and onto the double sniper, doubling their odds for taking out Linkser early in an engagement. They are successful, and now Libero looks like he is going to swap off this hero. Back to the Pharah.
Onto the Pharah now, and Ark has been on the Mercy for the round, getting a little bit closer to that Valkyrie at this point.
Yeah, this is the natural response. Go back to the dive against
what the what? All right, Libero deciding to take a breather there for a second. I don't know about that one. Raucus, so hey, what Zenyatta worth of salt wouldn't take that chance to headshot somebody standing in the middle of the field?
That's right, well, not having a pause come in here, so I suppose that wasn't a continuous issue here for Libero as
Apparently
he
not.
rejoins the battle on the Pharah.
That's right, doesn't seem to be phased too much. A lot of damage coming in though from the Tracer, gotta watch out for Jake. Meanwhile, Linkser putting a lot of pressure on him too.
They're doing a good job playing the window in upper halls, which means Libero can't really add a lot of damage onto the supports or tanks right now. You can see Jake and Linkser alternating between who is pressuring that window, and you don't want to go close to the ground at the far.
Oh, Muma gets that Earth Shatter again, a pin on the Sabiel B. Got a lot of people under the payload there, and with that Transcendence, they will have no trouble at all winning this fight.
Extra good for the Outlaws because the Valkyrie came out too, even though the instant the Shatter went down, a couple members of the Excelsior died, and Raucus will stagger Libero at the end. Ark now wants to go onto the Lucio, Libero onto the Genji. So they have had enough with this. That was some really good zoning by the Outlaws. The Pharah never really had a chance to get into position.
Well, Jake, you know, buying enough time for Linkser to get his Reflect cooldown back. Here we go, it's another Graviton coming in. Muma with a couple kills already via single charge. Now the Transcendence for New York, but they've already lost their DPS. I really don't know about that one from Jonak.
Well, the plan, it didn't go to plan, Doa.
Not at all.
The alternating crowd control abilities really working for the Outlaws, alternating the Shatter and the Graviton in the doorway while their DPS protects the window up top. So there hasn't been an answer for this from New York yet.
Xavier will be down early. That's a big kill for Linkster right off the bat now. Uma knocked back. Another shatter comes in, but this time the follow-up doesn't look like it might be there. Jake did get one kill onto Arc, so that's a support out of the way. Meanwhile, Linkster under pressure, a little reflection going on, but he'll have to do more reflecting as he waits in spawn to come back, and finally, that payload will start moving a bit for New York.
But with the spawn differential, Noah, Houston did an exceptional job of playing the choke point.
And they really did.
As those short spawns, very easy for New York to get back into that action. So you will take any time you can get off the clock if you're trying to play defense there, and
Absolutely.
Houston drained quite a bit.
Well, with as hard as points he is to complete, yeah, you'll take that any day. Linkster back to his team for a bit of healing. New York regrouping for a more cohesive push. And that's going to be Linkster's moment to come in with the Dragon Blade, maybe. Jonak in a lot of trouble either way. Going to go ahead and use that Transcendence. Both teams popping their Zen ultimates. Linkster just waiting it out. I heard a Graviton Surge go down somewhere.
It looks like it was eaten down.
Could have been eaten. Yeah, that's possible. I think Meko might have gobbled that one up. Meanwhile, the payload's still moving forward. Linkster getting pushed back a bit. Uma falls to that pulse bomb. And there goes Linkster. So they tried to engage with the Graviton Surge, but New York ready this time. Seemed like Meko ate that one, and that's going to be point B for New York. They're going to have about 3.5 minutes to try to push it the rest of the way.
Libero gets the Dragon Blade up now. So Houston came in with a pretty strong ultimate advantage, but couldn't convert it into a victory. And now New York, the ult economy swinging in their favor.
That's the plan. How fast can they push it? Point C is where things get really tricky if you're the attacker. Houston did it in style. New York coming in with the edge. It's a Genji battle up on the high ground. Just a bit of poking here. Gonna get broke up by that Winston now. And Libero nearly dying. Dragonblade coming in, but Jonak is ready!
Mid-air.
Jonak gets him before he's able to use that Genji ultimate. That is rough. Gets Jake too. Why not? Why can't Jonak just go ahead and kill both DPS? That's what he does.
And he didn't even have to use his ultimate there. Both support ults still here for New York.
Man, he's just getting that Transcendence right now. New York in great shape to finish this one up. Speaking of support ultimates going down, everything being used on all the teams right now. Dragon Blade's out. Libero with one. Uma gets a charge kill onto Janice, so one tank down on the Houston side. It's a brawl on the payload, but it looks like it's going New York's way. Here comes Linkster on the Doomfist, but there's only so much you can do on your own, and that is a completion for New York. We are going to time bank.
And with those kills from Jonak, getting those DPS and not having to use a support ult in the fight, it allowed New York to clear the map much quicker than they would have otherwise been able to do.
Right, so, man, we'll just watch this one again. Deals with the Genji, deals with the Tracer. Jonak doesn't need any Mercy damage boost. Come on, man.
And that's not the Zenyatta plays that we see where he's just right-clicking an angle, right? Hitting that volley. That's just aiming and target selecting two incredibly movement-oriented DPS characters.
That is just pure unfiltered skill right there.
That's how I like my skill, though.
Oh, yeah.
Unfiltered.
Only the best from the freshest mountain streams of skill. Well, Houston, despite their great attack run, actually ends up with a little bit less time in the time bank. They will be attacking first. New York, despite getting held up quite a bit at the beginning of point B, will end with 2:05. So a little bit of an edge, but honestly, it's only about 20 seconds. So these teams on fairly even footing here.
Really exciting to see how this is going to play out,
yeah.
Especially with how fast the attacks were successful for each of these teams on their initial attack. Houston not going to change anything up. Still will be the Roadhog and the Hanzo. New York going to be playing dive.
Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Houston coming in, doing what they do best. Jake once again looking for those picks. They're just in a charge right onto the point. No subtlety this time around. New York has to react. They got to do something. They're jumping down now. They've got Jake pushed over into the hotel. And they can play that defensive game. Oh, Sabiobi gets hooked and then killed off by Linkster on the Hanzo. Good start for Houston right off the bat. They've got one tick already. Libero pulled out of the air. He gets to reflect up just in time, but that is no health remaining. Jonak does get the kill onto Linkser. Oh, I can't believe Libero's still alive right now, but it may not do New York any good. Yeah, New York is going to have to give up point A.
I don't think New York should have played this defense, Noah. It's so conditional on perfect positioning because otherwise you get hit by a hook or a Hanzo arrow, and you can't play the point with any longevity because they have so many barriers with the Reinhardt shield as well as the Zarya bubble. So then at that point you have to alternate which player is on the point to prevent the control percent from going up, and even a slight mistake is very easily punished by the Outlaws.
Yeah, so while there's only 20 seconds left, the fact that Houston took point A is huge for their time bank round. They're gonna try to get this payload as far as they can. Jake lurking in the side room here. Oh, misses that hook. Echo trying to chase him down. Gotta get back to his team. Yeah, he is there. But man, this payload has gotten a lot of distance already. A lot of low health members on New York. Too, the healing needs to come in before they can fight. This is rough for New York. Transcendence gets used. Linkser getting pushed away by Janus now. And here comes a Dragon Blade from Libero. He needs to have a heroic one. Gets two already. I'd say that's starting to look a bit heroic. Yep, there goes free. Libero decides to end this one right here, right now. But Jake comes in with the whole hog. Can they finish him off? They can with the reflect, but Muma with the Earth Shatter. Still, I don't know the numbers if they are enough. Sound Barrier may just give them the sustain to do it. They've killed Meko. It would be crazy if they kept the payload going now. And the Dragon Strike comes through. Libero gets caught in it. Houston still pushing forward. A nice hook on the Sabielby. If they complete point B, that is insanity. And they're going to do it.
Insanity, Noah. The Dragon Strike helping them. And the fact that there weren't supports to heal the members of New York, they're with them. So staying alive with a Lucio and a little bit of help from the healing on the payload.
Well, this is turning into an incredible overtime push from Houston. There's still, if anyone leaves that payload, it's over. But man, they've gotten it so far already. Janus kind of hold up.
Watch screen for the Graviton here.
All they need to do is push people back. There's the Graviton Surge. Can they finish off the members of New York? Now they don't really have a lot of combo with it. They lose Rocket, so Sabielby comes back, and now New York looks like they're finally ready to end this attack run. Libero pulls out the Dragon Blade just to make sure, and that'll do it. But man, what a great push from the Houston Outlaws.
Fantastic time bank attack round. You have a minute 43, you get it all the way towards point C. You are going to feel very good about your odds of winning.
Yeah, that was one of the farthest overtime pushes I think we've seen in a long time. Certainly the farthest one we've seen on King's Row this stage.
Yeah, I'm really surprised New York went with the dive strategy against that. That's the same offense that we've seen from Houston. Every single time they played King's Row, they have looked so good on it. And it's very hard to make that defense work effectively when they just can bully you off the point, and if you pop around a corner, there's a hook or an arrow with your name on it.
It's really hard to describe just how difficult a task New York Excelsior has ahead of them. Not only do you need to fight it out and take point A, but they're going to be running out of time very quickly too. Remember, they only have about 20 seconds more than Houston had to work with in this time bank round. So even if they take point A just as quickly, they're still gonna have to fight that long, extended overtime push brawl to try to get it that far. And that is a task I would label as nearly impossible, even for one of the best teams in Overwatch, like New York certainly is.
It's going to be a challenge, and Houston will be defending again with Widowmaker and Tracer.
Yep.
So New York back to the dive. They made some quick adjustments last time, but they're not going to go for the double sniper again, it would appear.
Now, Linkser with some strong damage early on, going to take a bit more of a defensive stance now. Hanging out by Raucus up on the high ground.
Way out of line of sight now. Linkser to find who is going to be coming in. Just a little bit of a scouting jump there from Janus, as well as a way to charge up his supports.
Yep. That's right, Jonak. Oh, waiting for Jake. He was ready, and oh, that's 4 members down. New York finding the picks early on, and you know, What did I say about taking point A just as fast? I think they're going to do it.
Houston got too aggressive. New York was playing behind the statue outside of the Widowmaker line of sight, and they tried to engage in a spot where they could not be helped by the Widowmaker or by their supports in the back line. So that was questionable engage from the Houston Outlaws. Tried to force them out, but New York just popped them out of line of sight instead.
Well, now what you got to do is make sure Houston can't get that same defensive setup they did in their first defensive round.
Wow,
It's
they're
so
going
hard to break.
crazy.
They are really going aggressive now. New York has to fight it up, but Boink falls early. Uh-oh, Meko D-Mech, but there goes Muma. The respawn advantage way in New York's favor here. Houston just trying to buy more time early on. They wanted to go to OT as fast as they can. New York wins the fight, but that payload did get stalled for quite a while.
About 20 seconds, Doa. So as you say, they're trying to maximize the amount of distance that the payload has to roll in overtime. So it's a balance, though, because when you do that, you are giving New York a lot of ult charge.
Yeah, very true.
So that's a tough thing to say at this point in time, whether it was the right or the wrong maneuver.
I mean, New York now has nearly 5 ultimates. That could be devastating for Houston. They're going to come in again, though. Muma pretty close to an Earth Shatter himself. If Sabioldi gets a big pulse bomb on him, that could turn it around. We're going to be into overtime either way here. Linkser in trouble. Sabioldi hunts him down. We're into OT, though. So now, again, all Houston needs to do is just shove New York off for a little bit to win the map. But there's another stick on the Muma. Rock is in trouble as well. Sabioldi going crazy right now. He gets spree. Are you kidding me? New York with plenty of time to push. It looks like they will take point B. What is this map?
Jake's still alive. He's in the back line still. Houston's going to be coming out with a trance and an Earth Shatter, nearly there to a self-destruct. But New York, they really only had to use the Nano Boost and the Primal Rage to win that fight.
All right, New York, victory in their sights, not only in this map, but in the match as well. Houston has to stop them right here to stay alive in this series. Overtime again, New York with plenty of ultimates to use. Houston a wealth of their own. Jake waiting around the back, trying to sneak. If he can get something under the supports, it would be big. Oh, and leaf dart from Arc! Are you kidding me? This guy is crazy. Transcendence used by Jonak, and here comes Libero. He gets Boink, gets stunned by the Earth Shatter, taken out as Linkser comes back in with his own Genji ultimate. But Janice finds a kill on Amuma, spree nearly D-Mech. They need that Diva. Linkser with half health is gonna do nothing here. The payload moving forward in New York. Jake, he can't stop them. New York does it. What a King's Row that was. NYXL.
Series Dola so far.
Oh man, that is 3-0 in maps for New York. They have won the series, but they have had to fight for every millimeter. Houston with about as close of a loss as you could possibly imagine. And we've still got one map to go.
And as the Outlaws know, Doa, every map does matter.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the reason why they win our stage playoffs in stage 1. So we will see some good Overwatch, I'm sure, in map 4.
Oh, they certainly know better than anyone how much those individual map points matter, guys. So do not go anywhere. More excitement coming right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. You just gotta keep moving forward.
Welcome back to the Blizzard Esports Arena here in beautiful Burbank, California. Doe and Monty here, and man, what a crazy, awesome series we have had between Houston Outlaws and New York Excelsior. New York winning the series 3-0. We still have one map to go. And like we talked about before the break, if any team knows the importance of single map wins, it's definitely going to be Houston.
Absolutely, it will be. We do have some substitutions. It will be Cool Matt, the Diva expert, coming back in for Spree.
Yeah, and then Mono coming in on the New York side, subbing in for Janice.
Interesting. Both of our teams have been previously undefeated on Kings Row, and it will be New York Excel who continue to be undefeated on Kings Row.
Yeah, they are 4-0 actually on that map for the stage, which is really impressive.
I think it's going to be interesting to see the next match, which is going to be Route 66, because Houston has struggled on this, even though it is a Sombra-focused map, and Raucus traditionally has been a very good Sombra player. They haven't been able to pull out that win 0-2, but we have not seen New York play this map yet.
Yeah, very true. So technically, neither of these teams has a win on this map.
That's true.
The asterisk that New York has not played it at all. So, so there you go. Take from that what you will. Either way, we're going to Route 66. See if the Houston Outlaws can pick up one map win here in this series.
And Houston, they forewent the Sombra defense on another Sombra map in this series, which was Volskaya. So I'm curious whether they are also not going to play Sombra here, if it's something that they're not comfortable with on a defense. Rawhide.
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 I love that we can do that. Rawhide. There we go. They're so ready. We should start calling out for that on other maps. Lijiang Tower. Rawhide. There you go.
I'm sure we can get it anytime we want it, Doa.
We could. We have the power. That sounded sinister when I said it, but I meant it in like the best way.
The power to make whip cracks. It's the lamest superpower of all time, by the way.
Not necessarily. You could use it to distract people and then be very stealthy.
It would be great for cattle herding.
That's true. You could.
Now we have air horns.
oh, he can do a boink sound too. We're being told. Boink. Oh, wow, okay. Well, that's something. All right. We'll keep that one in mind.
Fun fact, that's actually what boink sounds like in all of the Outlaws comms.
There you go. Wow, that's amazing. I know the insight that you bring to a cast, Monte Cristo, is really staggering sometimes.
Well, looks like we are going to see Libero here on the Sombra, on the side of the New York Excelsior.
Sure enough.
I do think that I prefer on this point in particular, the Sombra being played by a DPS, because if you try and play Sombra Lucio, you do run into a problem where if you lose control of the health packs, you can suddenly find yourself with very little healing.
True. Well, we've got Sombra, Anas, and Yada this time, so plenty of healing to go around for New York Excelsior. And as we know from Jonak and Ark, plenty of damage as well.
Yeah, you're especially not worried about it, a lack of damage when you have Jonak on your roster.
Not at all. Lynx are taking some shots up on the high ground, and nobody really able to stop him at the moment.
Everybody just hiding right now.
Yeah.
On the side of the XL, just staying out of Lynxer's sights. Nobody challenging him up there. Not really a way to do it.
No.
Unless they send Mono and Beko up.
They don't really have anyone who can do that aside from the dive. Uh-oh, Ark in a little bit of trouble. Jake recalls. Meanwhile, Kumat does get DMAxed. A little bit of a problem for the Outlaws right off the map, but they do take down Mano in response. Ark right there just slams a bio grenade down on Jake's head. That's one way to do it, I guess. Just dunks him.
Infrasight is now up for Lynxer, so this is going to force the Excelsior to back off. Payload continues moving, courtesy of Muma. Mono now back in this fight, so we are up to full strength 6v6. Libero is going to hack that Lynxer.
Yeah, that's right. Lynxer's still dangerous, so Libero has to go ahead and recall. Teleports back out again, but Mano right there to finish Lynxer off again. New York on the attack and Muma on the retreat as Outlaws have to completely reset.
Cool Matt, DMAC'd, has to fall off the map to get the reset down. Packs are rehacked, so a lot of that effort from the Houston Outlaws now undone as the health packs are turned over to New York's favor once again. And taking a look, we will have both the support ults up for the Houston Outlaws, so maybe time for them to make a push. Libero wants an EMP, not gonna find it.
New York has been doing a very good job of not giving Lynxer any shots on that Widowmaker. They're just not in line of sight. they've kind of shut him down by just not being there. And meanwhile, there's the EMP. Raucus taken out immediately. That's a danger if you're Zen. A little bit of revenge coming in from Houston, though, and their push not dead quite yet, but that is a lot of kills, though, coming in from the New York side. Yeah, with that pulse bomb, Muma gonna need to retreat here.
Right back over to the health pack. Muma runs low, leaps out of danger towards his spawn, and Jake seems to charge directly into the pistols of Sabielby.
Well, maybe wanted a bit of revenge, maybe just wanted to get out as fast as he could. Either way, Houston trying to take the early position on the high ground here while they get ready to push the payload forward one more time. But they're down to about a minute remaining. They need to take point A very soon here. Sabielby sneaking up onto Linkser. Oh, Linkser dodges the melee just at the last moment. They do bring in the Transcendence too. Raucus keeping everybody alive. Jake in the back lines now. Sabielby firing away onto Boink, who's in that Valkyrie right now. The Mercy ult with that great AoE healing. Raucus and Linkser do go down, though, in the end anyway. And Houston just kind of slowly being picked apart by New York Excelsior.
And where we saw Linkser able to get some long angles for these headshots earlier, he can't get it when he has to go up onto that high ground, because that's where the Tracer and the Sombra can actually challenge him.
Pretty big pick by Raucus at the end of that one. Now it's going to be a 6v5 as Houston comes in. This is their opportunity, and with 30 seconds remaining, they got to take point A right here, right now. Sabielby misses his pulse bomb too. Things may be falling in line for Houston here.
Trying to protect that health back for the time being will be Linkser. Wants to get the flashbang, doesn't hit it, but he does push Sabielby back all the way onto the flank.
Mano down, Raucus with another one. Finishing that kill off, self-destruct comes in. Meko just trying to delay as long as he can. He can't get back in his mech though. Jake right there in time. There goes Arc. Jonak with a Transcendence a bit late again. Oh no, he used it right after Houston got the point. That's going to be an ult again that they want back. Jonak's Transcendences have been a bit off today, and Linkser just deciding to play janitor and get a bit of cleanup here.
As great as a player as Jonak is, though, his Transcendences have always been a little bit off.
He definitely has his off days.
Yeah, he builds them up so quickly that he throws them away sometimes equally fast. It has been one of the problems in the New York Excel that we've seen since the very start of the Overwatch League.
It seems like he's so intent on fighting because he's so good at it that he's a bit unwilling to pull the trigger when he should on that ultimate sometimes. A lot of them come in late.
Yeah, it doesn't save it either. That's sometimes he just goes ahead and throws it out there, sees if it sticks, and that can lead to scenarios where you really wish you would have it for the next fight.
Aggression coming in. Jake taken out by another bio grenade. Arc winning that 1v1 again. Houston still pushing that payload a little bit farther forward here. They've gotten it quite a way through point B already.
And the McCree swap has worked out nicely for the Houston Outlaws. May have wanted to come in a bit earlier on to ensure some more time, but now Linkser is making sure the payload continues to move. No one able on the side of New York to get on top of it and slow it down.
Oh, Linkser gets Libero too, so that's another advantage here coming in until the tanks of Houston fall. And now New York can take advantage of that fact that Houston very squishy at the moment here. Arc in a little bit of trouble. Jake fighting out with both supports. That's a dangerous thing to do, especially when Meko is nearby. And now New York gonna get a little bit of breathing room on the defense.
Yeah, Libero wants to come out here with the Genji swapped over a while back. So he's gonna be looking to build up that Dragon Blade right now. Sabielby waiting for people to come on through and see if he can get a pulse bomb. It's gonna be a cool match. Does not see him. Linkser dodges it.
Wow. Oh,
Boink!
no, Boink!
Boink glided over to him and died.
Guardian Angel, more like Angel of Death there as Boink flies right into the pulse bomb. That is a rough one. Libero comes in to finish off Linkser, and that is the anti-push, I guess you could say, that Houston wanted to have there. Now just 10 seconds remaining on the attack run. Can they even get back to the point?
There's a Dragon Blade, there's a Trans and Nano Boost. New York has all of the tools to stop this. It will have to be a heroic push from Houston.
They're gonna try. The dive comes in. We're into overtime. Nano Blade coming out for Libero. Cuts down Boink immediately. Looking for more. Looking for the kill on the opposite. Genji doesn't get it because of Raucus' Transcendence. Now the tanks for Houston diving in. Now diving out. Muma has to exit. Linkser does get the kill onto Jonak though, so both ends out of commission. Pulse bomb comes in. Didn't kill Arc, it looks like. That payload stalled out once more. Muma very, very low here. And it's only a matter of time, it looks like, as Boink falls. That overtime ticks away, and that is where it's going to stop for the Houston Outlaws.
So they get it about halfway through point B in the end. We do see a lot of full holds on this map thanks to the strength of Sombra if the Houston Outlaws choose to run it. But they're going to have a very tough time here.
It is possible, yeah. Yeah, like you said, that Sombra defense does work out quite a bit. Oh, Mecco. Crazy on that Mini Diva. Good stuff from New York Excelsior. They will stop Houston fairly early on in their attack run, but like you said, Monte Cristo, the Sombra strength, the strength of Sombra on this map is not something that you can deny.
No, you can't, but it hasn't been effective to this point for the Outlaws. And they are going to be potentially trying to play a dive. So what they'd like to do is play Raucus on Sombra and then run a Genji Tracer on top of that for their defense. Linkzr is going to be on the Soldier now. And Boink will actually be playing that Sombra. Now, usually on the side of the Outlaws, it's either Banny or Raucus on the hero.
Genuine Omnic parts. Ugh, don't tell Zenyatta. That's awkward.
Is that the black market for Omnic cards?
Yes, I don't know.
Is that like the same as selling human organs?
Soylent Chrome is made from Omnics. It's disturbing stuff right there.
I do wonder a lot about Omnic rights and ethics surrounding Omnics in the future.
Zenyatta's parts are his own. Although you know, you'd think if you were an Omnic, you would just like put your consciousness in like in a USB drive or something just in case. Obviously, Mandata did not do that. But,
well, you always back up. Mandata is the reason why you always back up.
They're like, oh yeah, always back up your consciousness. Here we go. Houston Outlaws gonna try to have a big defense here if they want to take a single map off of New York Excelsior. This has been a very, very close series, despite the overall score maybe not suggesting that.
So Libero is playing the Reaper. We see this on attack on this map to take over the health packs. And he is going to be sneaking around the side here. Moira, the rest of this death ball from the XL.
I'm a bit surprised that Houston's not using that Sombra. Just deciding to go something else. Libero on the Reaper now, of course.
So he's going to be playing towards the cart without the hacked health packs. Yeah. Maybe a swap here if they don't make an efficient push. They can change over to their own Sombra and play that on the attack if they don't see one.
We will see. Linkzr gets a couple kills right off the bat. Nice dodge from Jake on that hook, actually. Mano in a lot of trouble. He's not going to last much longer. And so Houston will hold for now. New York Excelsior just trying to be a battering ram, but Houston being that immovable object so far.
Yeah, that's going to be Libero swapping immediately. So when they don't see the Sombra, you don't need that Reaper anymore. It's going to be hard for you to try and play into the Soldier with that Reaper. Not going to have an easy time getting onto the high ground. So that's why the swaps are coming through now. Houston just showing once again, like they did on Volskaya, that they are...
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Woo! All right, NYXL. Again, trying to push this one forward. Maybe they can loop Saviel be around the outside here. We will see. They've nearly got that sound barrier ready to go.
Yeah, they are going to be pushing back forward. They want to get on top of Big Earls. That's going to be hard with the Tac Visor.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough to do anything with Linkzr raining bullets down on top of you. That's a big kill on Nemeko already, and he pushes back the rest of NYXL in a hurry. 2 minutes remaining for New York. Oh, Jonak. Jonak, don't fight this fight. It's not one you want to take.
He's going to hide behind the rocks instead.
I know you're super good, but still.
He really wants to get... He's playing with fire.
He's a man who lives dangerously.
Wants to get a pick off and open the way for his team, but it's not going to find anybody's head to click on.
Guess so.
They stay out of range, and Linkzr is just trying to keep him corralled over on the side.
Linkzr takes a shot, but and just back up. Ooh, Libero. Now, Linkzr's been pretty hard to touch on the top, so they're going to try to focus on him now, pushing Houston back. Maybe time to use some of those ultimates here. Raucus with that Transcendence ready to go. Mano down, and Muma Primal rages to get the kill onto Arc there. Gets Jonak as well. Muma chasing down the supports like we know he loves to. Oh, but Jake gets one onto Libero as well.
And Jake not dying, huge for that fight. If he had gone down, that would have been a push with a man advantage once the respawns from New York arrived. So This will be a very different fight now with Jake staying alive and Houston just holding strong here on A.
Wow, it's been a great measured defense here too. They've been very efficient about the ultimates that they've used. Haven't used any more than they absolutely need to. And all they need to do is keep it up for 40 more seconds here. Jake comes in, pulse bomb. Oh, gets picked off though by Sabielby. That payload is moving. Houston short-handed suddenly. Nano goes down on the side of New York too. Here comes a Transcendence now. Can they turn it into a few more kills? Valkyrie on the side of Houston. Boink using that Mercy ultimate.
Rocket still has the Transcendence to deal with Libero in this Dragon Blade.
Yeah, Libero takes out Linkser too. That's a big one. Cool Matt D-Mac. Oh, right as the Transcendence comes in for Rockus here. There's the Dragon Blade. Libero gets Boink. And things starting to fall apart here a bit for the Houston Outlaws. They have forced it nearly to the end, but right as overtime is about to begin, New York will take point A. So another 2.5 minutes in the time bank, and all they need to do is get about all the way through point B, and they'll claim this map.
Yeah, Libero waited for the Dragon Blade until both of the support ults had already been utilized. Sabielby trying to punish people as they come out here of the defensive spawn. Those two doors that you have access to.
It's very brave.
Yeah, can be abused by the attacking team, and that's how you do it.
Well, between a Tracer and a Winston place right there is where Rockus found himself. You're not going to escape that one. Good start for New York as they push forward. They get Jake as well. Jonak there to counter the dive. Pulse Bomb comes in. Sabielby didn't get anything out of that one. I think Coolmat may have eaten it, but he's going to get D-Macked anyway. So things still going New York's way in a big way, as they are about to finish this map. One last desperate defense, maybe coming in from Houston.
Booba could delay this with the primal range, though. He can wait for the rest of his teammates to get in place. Boink, he's got to get up to that Valkyrie as fast as he can.
Attack visor.
Great job.
Oh, we get Sabielby as he tries to duck through the doorway. Good start there. Ark in a lot of trouble way back there. Jake taken out. Jonak again finds him in the 1v1. And now Libero with that Dragon Blade has to turn and deal with Coolmat. Couldn't find the kill onto Boink. But New York still coming slightly out ahead in for the moment anyway. They've got the kills. Big sleep dart onto Coolmat too. He's out of the fight for long enough that they can deal with him. There's the self-destruct though. Mano having to dodge, ducks behind the payload, and it's nearly there. Mumo with like 10 HP before he goes down, and that is it. New York Excelsior will complete Route 66 and complete the sweep over the Houston Outlaws.
That could have been very different, though, if Sabielby had not gotten the kill in conjunction with Mono, catching Rockus out to give them room to free push that payload. Was the necessary play. Sabielby going very deep and communicating with his tank about the location of that Zenyatta and eliminating him instantly.
Well, when we go back and look at this series, the assault map, Volskaya, certainly went New York's way, but man, after that, all three maps were very, very close between Houston and New York. Only the smallest of margins determined the winner. So despite the series being a 4-0, this is probably the closest 4-0 we've seen yet in Overwatch League.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close, that's for sure. And Sabielby had a monster day. On that last map, he was 28 eliminations, 14 final blows, and 3 deaths.
Wow.
3
Sabielby
on Tracer.
Just keeps getting better and better every single time we see him, it seems like. NYXL having no trouble at all with the meta swapping up. The supports able to take care of themselves, and that is a strong performance for them. As they get that 4-0, we will go to a break, and when we come back, the desk is going to break that match down.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Hey everyone, this is Zoe. I'm joined by Ark from the NYXL. Please give it up. Absolutely amazing how you and your team performed on this stage. You know, you used to be my favorite, Mercy, but after the performance on the stage, you may very well become my favorite, Anna. Those plays you made were absolutely sick. What was the reaction from your team when you hit those sleep darts?
Actually, my teammates didn't think that I'm gonna do it, so like they were really surprised about it.
They were surprised about it. Well, they better get used to it. I loved what I saw right there. Now let's talk a little bit about the way you and your team play generally. Subyobi, it's something the caster pointed out also. He played differently this time. Usually he's focusing on the enemy DPS and peels for his supports, so for you and Jonak. But this time he went straight into those backlines and didn't do that. How did that change the way you and Jonak had to play?
Like, well, we have more burden, I guess, because like SBB was marking enemy DPS all the time, and now they're all free. So, like, me and Jonak has to do more super plays to get over it, I guess.
Well, it worked out, so no worries about that. Let SBB do his thing out there. One last question. When are you back in full force? I see you still wearing the cast. Does it hurt? How much does it influence your play?
For now, like, it hurts sometimes when I play it, but I think it's gonna be fine in a week, I guess.
All right, well, a fast recovery to you. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again to you and your team. That was Ark, ladies and gentlemen. We're now heading over to Des. Pocket and the guys break down the action.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to Ark. Congratulations to New York. Before we break down the action here at the desk, though, Monty and Doa are done for the week, and I'm not letting them go home without chewing on some tiny yellow fruits. We got a lemon in each of their hands, and that's all I'm going to say here. Monty, Doa, it's your turn, boys. Lemons for leukemia.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Oh, yes. That is proper juicing from Doa.
No.
Lemon juice in the beard. Monty, the class act, as always, Doa, the savage. Thank you, gentlemen. Audience, give it up for the boys. Great casting all day, all week long. Here to break down the action at the desk, though, it's stuck the three of us. We got Sideshow, we've got Reinforce, it's Puckett once again, and we are so hyped. We're like, Kings Row's coming up next. We're gonna get these 10.
We knew it'd be amazing.
Houston's looking good. Match is over after 3 maps. Let's talk through the good moments, though, here early on. What were we seeing from the teams?
Oh, Houston Outlaws we knew would love Kings Row, and coming into it, Monty and Doa set it up. Both of these teams unbeaten, but they have very different playstyles. NYXL never run a Reinhardt, Muma's almost always on it.
Yep.
And they had so much success. It looked like Houston were running away with it. They were so powerful on their offense, but NYXL just counterpunched back with another fantastic push of their own.
Johnny, we saw a lot of Hanzos today.
Hanzo.
All the Hanzo
Yeah.
mains. Don't do it tonight when I'm playing, but today they were showing off.
Yeah, the only reason I'm actually a Reinhardt main is because I'm not allowed to play Hanzo in matchmaking. So there you go. Well, yeah, we saw a lot of good Hanzo coming out from both Linkser and Libero. And actually, the clutch Dragon Strike, you have to mention, of course, when we were in overtime. Linkser sending a Dragon from...
Whoa! That's so good!
What was that?
A ridiculous headshot coming out. And these guys are the second and third most played Hanzos in the league, behind Seagull, actually, who's at #1. So Lynx has racked up 19 minutes of Hanzo gameplay, Libero at 11 minutes. So you can see it's still a really niche strategy.
Oh,
are you kidding me?
Fade away.
And I think these are two of the best Hanzos that you would ever have to play against, and they just both happen to be playing against each other.
Okay, I love watching these guys when they're on Hanzo. I hate when he's in my game. When do you use the Hanzo? Where is he most effective? Because so far in Stage 2, I feel like it's mostly on Kings Row.
Well, on Kings Row, it's really good because it's pretty hard to reach the Hanzo in the first place. You rarely see the dive compositions coming out on Kings Row. So when you're a Reinhardt and when you have a Sari on your team, you can't really reach the Hanzo. And that's when he excels. Because he deals so much damage, he can break the shield pretty fast. He can find the picks because he deals so much damage in one shot. He can get the insta picks. And so just for the basis, because he has so much damage coming out, he can stand in the back line, survive for quite a while, and get so much damage output.
Understood. That's the proper way to use your Hanzo in the future, kids. Let's talk about the tanks coming in. We said Houston, sick tanks. I was jumping up and down watching my man Muma. Some of the sickest charges we've seen, such smart use of his abilities. Talk me through what were the tanks doing here on this map in particular?
Yeah, they were fantastic, and the play that Muma and Spree have together is excellent. I think Johnny handed out another medal earlier on. He was saying Spree probably the best Zarya that you'll ever come across.
It was there.
In the West, okay. And so he was having a great performance here today as well. And I kept seeing him get very animated as well when he's playing. It sounds like when he comes into King's Row, he likes to make a lot of the calls and have things kind of structured around him, because obviously he has a huge ultimate to work with, and you get a lot of damage output if he's sat at 100%.
Yeah.
The fights were so good.
Yeah, and Spree is actually one of my favorite streamers, because if you watch his stream, he's one of the more talkative guys. This is a sick
This play, so good!
Oh, and he's going to charge him all the way down. He's going to knock him down
and
with
stay up.
the hammer. Goodbye.
That's fantastic, because anyone can just pin a Zenyatta into the pit and die as well.
Right.
But it takes skill to be able to neatly maneuver them into the pit.
That's your 10,000 hours showing off right there from Muma.
And this was this crazy 3v5 that they won. Off
Here
the back
comes
of,
the dragon!
Yeah, Boink just getting huge amounts of damage output and gets the sound barrier. Then this dragon comes through from spawn. Links her with a dragon strike. It was just all the pieces were working so well for Houston Outlaws. They complete the 3, then they get another push. How do you match that?
It was amazing. And
BNYXL.
They did Overwatch. They did the overtime push. So let's talk about the counter here. Because Houston's looking so good, New York taking their game to the next level. How did they walk away with the victory?
Crazy plays coming out from their supports. Jonak in particular, clutching things left, right, and center. That's how, when you need clutch potential, you don't really normally think of supports, but Jonak was just coming out with double kills in half of these fights, winning them situations that they had no right to win. And then Ark's there backing him up on the Zenyatta and stuff like that. Like, they were winning almost every clutch 1v1 they did.
I'm not completely sure about the stats here, but I think the stats were 7-2 in favor of Jonak. 9-2 for Jonak over Jace in the duels, of course. And I mean, usually, we talked about this, it's supposed to be the Tracer killing the Zenyatta, but in this case, it's Jonak coming out on top on a Tracer duel. Or not Tracer duel even. It's 10 versus Tracer.
11 points scored in that King's Row. Definitely the closest of the 3 games we watched today. At the end, it was Route 66, and it was all New York. It's time, guys. We have to crown our player of the match. Clearly, he's playing for the XL. Who is it today?
It's going to be Ark, actually, and mostly based on the fact that he pulled out the Ana and just supported Jonak, of course, in a different way we haven't really seen as much before. We actually saw London Spitfire do it earlier today, but these sleep darts were so clutch.
The sleep darts are so great, and what it does is it allows them to play a slightly more defensive style, because Jonak and Ark back each other up so well. And Jonak was, Ark was just so ridiculous with these sleeps. He slept more opponents than the times he died. It's ridiculous. This stat card is absolutely bananas.
And it's Tracers, it's Genjis.
Yes. It's crazy. Look at this. Enemy slept 10, deaths 9.
Wow.
So if you're coming towards him, the chances of you getting the kill there are almost non-existent. And he was 4 and 5 in the head-to-head against Jake as well. So combined, they had 13-7. When Jake's trying to get into the backlines, he won 7 times, but he lost 13 times.
Ridiculous stuff
Amazing.
coming in from Ark today. He is your player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. I was an Ana main back in Season 2. I'm ready to bring her back after watching Ark today. Ridiculous plays coming through, and you have to keep in mind, this was without your Tracer keeping you safe like he has the entirety of the Overwatch League until today. Great stuff from New York. I feel like this may be the team to beat. We get a chance to see more of them next week, but for now, we have to end this match. We have one more coming up. When we come back, we got the Dragons taking on the Shock. Make some noise, LA. We'll be back in 3 minutes.